Hello and welcome back to the Film Club. We're back with another solo film episode because the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 just came out and I need to talk about it. I don't think a Marvel film has ever made me smile as much as Guardians of the Galaxy 3 has. Or actually not just smile, but cry, laugh, just every emotion. This video is going to contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, come back later. I don't even know where to start when talking about this film. There is genuinely so much I loved about this film. It's just the perfect ending to these characters. Firstly, I want to say screw you, Marvel, for making me go through the trauma that I went through thinking Rocket was going to die in the marketing, Rocket was going to die during the film. The scene where his heart essentially stops and he's in the heaven place talking to Layla and teeth and floor, and I was just like, oh my god, my eyes started to tear up, they started coming, and then Layla just says, but not yet, and he goes, ah, and Star-Lord absolutely screaming in pain, and then he just comes back. So screw you, Marvel, for putting me through that. I did not need that. And then later on in the film, it gets towards the end of the film and I think, oh Jesus, now they're going to kill Star-Lord. They're going to... what? Because I knew it was the end of the trilogy and it was almost wrapping up these characters, the stakes actually felt high and it felt like these characters could go at any minute. And so when Star-Lord's in space and he starts to freeze up, I was like, no, they're doing a Yondu. But then Adam Warlock comes in clutch and thankfully none of them die. Genuinely a beautiful ending. I had a grin on my face and tears in my eyes. The end of the film, seeing them all dancing along and all just happy and free, and they're all just content with where they are, and it's just brilliant. We don't get to see that often as an ending for characters, but I genuinely love how they've ended it in the fact that we can see all these characters come back together. We can see Star-Lord make a return at some point if it feels right in the future. They didn't unnecessarily kill him off because the actor no longer wanted to be in it, or the story was finished, or the trilogy was done. It was just a great ending. I think this is probably the funniest Marvel film. I think this is the most times that a joke has fully landed, and I've laughed, and I laughed a lot in this film. I think it was genius that they did the Christmas special before this because it made me really love Drax and Mantis and their sort of brother-sister relationship and the comedy between them two. I thought because the Christmas special came out, that really worked. Every element of this film worked. The music was brilliant, the cinematography was brilliant, the CGI, let's just talk about the CGI. You alright, Freddy? There were some tough scenes in this film where the CGI could have really failed, and it just didn't. All the space shots, or whether they were zooming through the sky with Adam Warlock, those scenes could have really flopped, and there was just not a single scene that I looked at and thought, CGI. You can tell that this film prioritises the characters, it prioritises the writing, and it's something that has been lacking in previous Marvel films. Rather than just trying to move the story to the next villain or the next big arc, it's actually delving deep into the characters and giving these characters life, meaning, purpose, emotional depth that a lot of things don't. If I saw Ant-Man or one of Ant-Man's crew almost at the brink of death, or even someone relating to Doctor Strange in the Doctor Strange film, I don't really think I would have cared. Whereas Rocket Raccoon, who in a way is a side character, on the brink of death had me in tears because he's actually got depth to the character, and it's something that Marvel needs to work on in the future. Rather than just focusing on the next big villain and the next big Marvel film, actually just creating decent stories and writing characters that we all love. The comedy in this film as well wasn't too cheesy, and it wasn't like an awkward place. It was when there were serious moments and it needed to be serious, the jokes weren't there, but they were there when it needed to sort of cut you out of the tension and bring you back into the moment or anything like that. It just did so many things right, and I just love this film. It's easily in my top 5 Marvel films. Can we also talk about the corridor scene? That might be probably one of my favourite Marvel action scenes that they have ever done. Having it all be essentially one smooth take, going from character to character as they battle through these animatronic thing. It was just so well done, and I just was like, I had such a smile on my face while watching that. That was one of the best scenes in my opinion. The actor who played the High Evolutionary did a brilliant job. I genuinely think he is one of the better Marvel villains we have seen in the entirety of the MCU. He was scary, he had depth to him, he had flaws. You could see he was like mentally tortured by the fact that Rocket knew something that he couldn't figure out himself, and that tormented with his mind. So much so that he essentially just caused his own demise. And he actually feels like a genuine threat, he feels like a power to be reckoned with, which something like Ant-Man Quantumania, where they had Kang, who should, if anything, be scarier than this guy, just didn't really feel like that. And so I don't know why that is, but maybe Marvel just need to reevaluate and look at this film. The after credit scene of Guardians 3 as well was just brilliant. I mean, the fact that in the future we might still get to see another Guardians film, but it's just with sort of an altered different team, I think is brilliant. And yet you've still got core members like Groot and Rocket, but with new additions like Adam Warlock, who genuinely I actually loved in this film. At first, when they started to use him as sort of a comedy relief, I was a little bit like, here we go. But it actually grew on me quite a lot, and I actually found myself really liking the character, and I'm quite excited to sort of see what happens with him in the future, how they use him, where they use him. Yeah, I'm just genuinely, I quite like the actor as well. There is just so much to love about this film. I'm sure I've missed something in this video that I genuinely loved about this film, because I loved so much about it. I love seeing Groot's new form as well at the end. I just loved this film. I just loved this film. Anyway, that has been all from me. That has been all from the Film Club. If you did enjoy it, please like down below, and I'll see you next time for the Film Club.